Albert Einstein defined success as the ability to move from one failure to another without any loss of enthusiasm. So on this note, I welcome you to yet another interesting episode on From the Ivory Tower. Today we are in the University of Lagos, Faculty of Arts and the Department of Philosophy. You know, my name is Omotayo Alo, and we are speaking with Professor Kola Ogundonwale as a professor of philosophy. But before we go to the interview session, we spoke to some students of Unilag and some of the issues we had for discussion today, and this is what they have to say.
In my own opinion, I just felt it should have made us a better and one Nigeria.
I think they need to really incorporate the voice of the people. They really have to be sincere. Sincerity should characterize the platform with which the conference is really laid.
Safety of Nigerians is a very big problem. And well, they should just improve on security and other ways, other measures.
Nigerians have to be in unity.
We should just try to curb political excesses.
Those were the views of students, and like you know, the views of students on this program are actually very important. And so it's on this note we move to our interview session proper. Welcome you to From the Ivory Tower and happenings around the country. Varsity teachers get to air their views. Students are actually not left out. We bring you intellectual ends from the events happening around you. This is dedicated to educating the populace with a spice of entertainment.
From the Ivory Tower, Tuesdays, only on Core TV News.
We've come to the interview session on the edition of From the Ivory Tower today, and like you know, I'm in the University of Lagos once again with Professor Kola Ogundonwale, is a professor of philosophy. Good day, sir.
Good day.
It's nice having you.
Thank you.
Okay, I'd like us to start with something which is a major cause of fear, not only to Nigerians but to Africans as a whole. And for some people, the fear of Ebola is the beginning of wisdom not to shake even a close friend or even a relative. So for you, what do you think is the best way for Nigerians to handle this situation? I mean, their disposition to this virus, even as our medical experts look for ways on curbing the problem.
Well, I think the first thing to do is to uphold the basic hygienic procedures. Since we know very little about the virus, not only in Nigeria, but world over. But the actual solution would be to know exactly what is Ebola virus, its genetic structure, its development, and the way it could affect the other, that is, from someone who is already infected. This is important because this will be added to the general hygienic procedure which we have to follow. But to do that, our scholars need to do more research. They need not rely on outsiders. Because it is similar to the acquired immune deficiency syndrome, which was reported some years ago. I think the first time I heard about it, I was in Florida, teaching at Florida State University in 1983, when it was reported that it was found in U.S. among the Haitians. And the chief medical officer from Haiti flew into U.S. and called World Press Conference that disease, AIDS, was not known in Haiti. It's not been recorded. That if found among the Haitians in the United States of America, then it must be environmental. There are many controversies about how it came to be. But some sources later trace it to the laboratory of United States of America as a special order by Pentagon for the development of biological weapon. And they tested it in many ways. Arobiosu reported in one of the publications then, around that time, I think Digest, that they spread the AIDS virus in Zaire through contaminated polio, which United States of America sent to that country as donation to fight polio. But that polio vaccine was deliberately contaminated at Vista Institute in Philadelphia.
All right. So from what you're saying now, education is very key to tackling this disease. For excessive fear from Nigerians, displayed by Nigerians, because recently there was a broadcast on social media that people should start having their bath with salt water, and it was recorded that 2 people died from such ignorant practice. So for you, do you think excessive fear of this virus should be the case?
Well, it's part of the level of awareness in people. You know, our society is myth reading. We very superstitious. So we are very superstitious. So things like this look mysterious, and we generate many many unsubstantiated views. Yes. Like the one you just said, bathing with hot water and salt and so on and so forth. I don't think we need to panic. In a situation of this sort, what we need to do is to be focused. And as I mentioned earlier, keep to normal hygienic condition and know exactly how it develops. So we need the knowledge of how it develops and how it can be transmitted. When that is known, like Lagos State is already trying, and they broadcast on radio, they advertise on television on what to do in order to avoid being infected. I think that's good enough. What we need to do is to let other states emulate what Lagos State is doing. But however, it is important that the medical team and our laboratory scientists to work 24 hours on Ebola virus. Try to determine what it is. Is it a natural phenomenon or developed under laboratory condition? Because the AIDS virus, as I mentioned earlier, the view from United States was that it's found among African green monkeys. But a British scientist, John Searle, suggested and demonstrated that the AIDS virus was actually developed under laboratory condition, and that it got out of hand while it was being tried, being tested. So we don't know too whether this so-called Ebola virus, they said, is found among the bush animals, like bats, antelope, porcupine, monkeys. They did not mention grass cutter. Well, grass cutter now maybe is domesticated. That's why they don't want to mention it, because those who have animal husbandry involving grass cutter and are running to millions of dollars or naira, they won't want to waste that. So they didn't mention that. But that's just by the way. But the important thing is that we need to know.
Right, and Now, thank you for that. I'd like us to tilt towards politics. For you, what can you say about the political character of Nigerians, the Nigerian politics? A case study of what happened in Osun State. The outcome of the election has been raising a lot of reactions, and events have been following what happened in Osun. The case between Arebeshola and Orishori, the popular party candidate. So for you, what can you say on this, using your philosophical knowledge to analyze the situation?
Well, the politics in Nigeria has to do a lot with the pockets of the individual. So that is, the economic well-being of the individual are involved. And Lenin said sometime that economy is concentrated politics. So you see, if you look at the political parties in Nigeria, they do not have the essential characteristic of political parties. They look very much like associations and at times movement. Political parties should have a definite social task they have behind the formation of such party, which they want to resolve in the society. Every epoch, every age has its own historical task that must be fulfilled and cognized by those behind the formation of such political party. But in Nigeria, you see people crossing from A to B, and B to A, and A again to B, and back again. It's very, very unserious. You understand me? Political parties based on ideological leaning, it's serious business. It's serious business. You won't see, look at Chinese Communist Party. It concentrates on development of China, improvement of the social well-being of the people, and unrelented in this task. And very soon, in fact, if they've not overtaken United States in development-wise already, it's only the mass media in the West who say, oh, China is second economy. Which second? But for China, United States economic downturn will have occurred even before 2008. Why? China inadvertently invested in the bonds of the United States, running to trillions of dollars. That trillions of dollars is now seen as unpayable by the United States. China may not be able to recover, but that is already within the American economy. It's helping the American economy. So in Nigeria, if we are to have political parties that determine particular social task that is called upon to fulfill within the environment, then we know that we have political party. When political parties were being organized the other time, the only one political party I noticed was the one formed by late Chief Anthony Enahoro. It called the party National Reformation Party, because that chief believed in reconstructing Nigeria, restructuring Nigeria, and it made it the task of a political party. But people didn't understand, and there are many people in that political party. Of course, there is no money to share there.
So in essence, you're saying there should be an overhaul reveal of the ideologies of our political parties.
Because Nigeria itself is calling for that. Everywhere you go now, people talk about change. But we've seen some organizations calling themselves Movement for Change, Some even call themselves transformers. But a transformer without which will not fit the have the capacity of the installation and the capacity of the load to be carried in the area to which is installed will blow up before it's being used. So what I'm trying to say here is that if we are to have political party, they must cognize the peculiar problem of this society itself. Why is Nigeria at 53 is not able to feed itself? We import virtually everything from matches even to oranges nowadays. Haven't you seen imported oranges in our market? Well, I've seen some, but I refuse to buy. You know, so it means that we have serious problem before us. As I was mentioning to some friends, India, when they were celebrating the 25th anniversary of their independence, they roll into the ocean, an ocean liner ship, conceived, designed, built by them for the purpose of that celebration, 25th. When India was to celebrate 50th anniversary of their independence, they released into the space satellite, artificial earth satellite, conceived, designed, built by them, using the rocket conceived, designed, and built by them to commemorate the 50th anniversary of independence. 2 weeks later, they released into the ocean submarine built for that purpose too. Don't you see goal-setting leadership behind such programs? But when Nigeria was to celebrate 50th anniversary, we had about 2 weeks to the actual celebration that we are now. Nigeria will bake the largest cake in the world to go into Guinness Book of Record. What an ambition. What we should be thinking about is carrying out soil analysis in order to know what type of foundation to lay for a new Nigeria. That should be the task of everybody now.
In a bid to rebuilding Nigeria with a better foundation that would last us for a very long time, Professor Kola will be telling us more on this after this break.
You can now watch Core TV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to Core TV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click Core TV, leave a space, then News. Core TV News, a 24-hour news station.
Thanks for staying with us still on the program, and the program is from the Ivory Tower. And let's look at the national conference. Do you think the conference has lived up to its expectation?
Well, to start with, I heard you saying Nigeria a nation. That is part of the confusion. Nigeria is not a nation. And when we start with false conception, we cannot get anything done right. Nigeria is not a nation. It's an agglomeration of many nations. We at times our people take for granted that, oh, Nigeria is given, so we are one and continue to be one and forge ahead. You see, we need to have sufficient historical knowledge about what is called Nigeria. Before the Berlin Conference, organized by European powers of 19th century, there was no Nigeria, there was no Gold Coast, there was no Dahomey. In 1884, November, running through February 1885, the European powers of that time met in Berlin at the instance of the then first Chancellor of Unified Germany. Bismarck. It was the Portuguese authorities that appealed to Bismarck to organize such a conference because of the fear of possible war between Portugal and England for the purpose of southern part of Africa. Portugal already had Angola and Mozambique as colony. But the ambition of England was to have from Cape Coast to Cairo the entire area as English colony. So Bismarck, just coming to limelight after unifying Germany forcibly, he agreed to the conference and he hosted the conference, and the only representative of Africa they had there was the map, the then current map of Africa hung on the wall with long ruler and long pencil, and decided sharing Africa. They share Africa among the European powers then. And they were just drawing line, vertical, horizontally, to determine, and perhaps they use geographical landmark to determine. Nobody cared about what obtained on the ground. In the process, they split even a family into two different countries, different colonies, and the family became what? Foreigners. A concrete example, Imeko in Ogun State here is split into two. One side is Nigeria now, the other side is Benin Republic. Imeko is Yoruba town before the colonial phenomenon. Also, the town where Kwame Nkrumah was born, Nkrofil, equally split into two. One part Gold Coast, the other part Ivory Coast. There are some nations or nationalities already in process of emergence that were split into several parts. Wolof in upper north of West Africa, Wolof was split into four. Yoruba split into four different colonial countries. The largest part of Yoruba land is within Nigeria. Other parts within French Dahomey. Another part within then German Togoland, and other part in Ghana, Eastern Ghana, up to Greater Accra area. I think I agree with you that it is because President Goodluck came to the awareness that things could no longer continue this way. Probably must recognize the false foundation and say, okay, let's look at it. And it was a right decision to call a conference. But he did not understand fully what type of conference. The conference we need is not the type they are holding now in Abuja. First, the modality, the mode of selection was faulty. Such a conference, if it's to solve the malign problem of Nigeria, should be a conference among the nationalities within Nigeria. That is, the indigenous peoples of Nigeria, the Yoruba, the Bashama, the Junku, the Berom, the Egom, the Kamaton, the Hausa, the Tiv, the Idoma, the Higis, and so on and so forth. Igbo, Ijo, Ogoni. These are the people that we're supposed to have called to the conference to sit down and discuss. Look, colonial interlopers put us together without regard to our feeling, to our history, to our irrespective individual culture. Now we've seen that 50 years after, things have not been normal. Until that is done, until when we have a conference of the sovereigns of ethnic nationalities, whether small or large group, we won't get our problem solved.
It was really nice having you on the program today, and for viewers at home, I'm sure they are a lot more educated than they were on issues concerning Nigeria and the status of our nationality. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Remember, the conference is yet to come.
Okay. All right. We won't let you go until you see what we have for you on our quotes for the day. My name remains Omotayo, but one thing I would leave you with is that ensure that you put yourself to being part of the solution and not constituting more problem for our dear country, Nigeria. Bye for now.